Hallo und willkommen. Mein Name ist Sanna Ödmark und ich bin Head of Marketing by Cure Media. We are strategic and data-driven influencer marketing that help companies all over the world to get results through influencer marketing. Today I'm going to walk you through the concept of influencer marketing as a growing marketing channel, where it was a couple of years ago and where the channel is today. I'm also going to outline 3 main things why the channel is so powerful and effective. I'm gonna give you 5 key things to consider in order to succeed. And finally, or maybe most importantly, how to get started. Before we dig deeper into the subject, I just want to start off by giving you a few background numbers to have in mind. As you can see on this slide, 87% of German internet users are active on some kind of social media platform today. It might be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or any other, but this is where we spend a lot of our time today, and this is where we talk to friends, this is where we look for inspiration, this is where we go shopping, etc. Especially this year, since we haven't been able to go out and see the world as we used to do. Another number that is interesting to look at is this one from Forbes. 92% of consumers trust an influencer more than traditional celebrity endorsements or advertisements. And I know for myself and for most of us today that we are very tired of advertisements and commercials. We want meaningful communication and we want it to be relevant for us where we are in our lives right now. And as all of you marketers know, things are changing really fast right now, but things aren't always changing in the same pace. As you can see here, we spend more and more time on social platforms compared to, for example, commercial TV. But even though this is the reality, the budgets haven't changed so much if you look at that. So marketers still spend a lot of money on channels where their target group is not to be found. And this is where influencer marketing comes into the picture. So if we are to define the term influencer marketing, just to make sure we are all on the same page about what it means, influencer marketing is a type of marketing that uses content creators, influencers, to have a unique relationship with a specific audience to promote a product or a brand or service on social platforms. So as you can see in this definition, there is no such thing as the word famous, millions of followers, celebrity, but the important thing is that a person has the capability to build a relationship with people on social platforms and influence each other. And even though the industry is growing at a record pace and more companies are realizing the power of the channel, it's not a new phenomena. As you all know, we trust people more than we trust brands. And this is something that companies has used for a very long time. The oldest documented example of a traditional celebrity endorsement was actually Coca-Cola back in 1930s when they used Santa Claus to promote their drinks and beverages. They realized that if we talk through Santa Claus, people will associate us with the warm feeling of Christmas and happy and joy. So yeah, it's not a new thing, but it has definitely changed. If we go back a couple of years, we can see many examples of traditional celebrity endorsements when companies leveraged a celebrity's fame to promote a product or brand or raise awareness of something. I think you all recognize Michael Jordan for Nike, but there are lots of other examples of famous faces promoting a specific product. 10 years ago, we talked about bloggers. It was mostly women who had a blog and wrote about things and also promoted products. If we look at the influencer marketing landscape today, it doesn't only include big, famous celebrities or mega influencers with millions of followers. It's mostly about people just like you and I who have followers who they connect with, have a relationship to, and have a big impact on. So these people, micro and mid-sized influencers, they are very good at engaging their audience and creating a dialogue with the people that follow them. Many times these people are specialized and focused on a specific area. So the people that follow these influencers, they are often very interested and engaged in the content that they publish. They really want to take part of the content they do. So put shortly, these people invite us to their homes and to their lives, and it really feels like we know them because it's an ongoing dialogue rather than only a monologue. What I also want to highlight here is that influencer marketing today doesn't always need to be a product that you front or something that you want to sell, because as I mentioned previously, today's consumers are very tired of commercials and advertisements, so we want it to be meaningful and relevant for us. Influencers today are often very good at storytelling and putting products and services into a context that is natural in their lives and also for their consumers. Here are some inspiring photos from some recent collaborations that we at Cure Media have done together with our customers. And what I really want to highlight here as well is how beautiful the content is. Content, as you all know, is time-consuming and expensive, so it's something that you get through influencer marketing as well. So the big question, why is influencer marketing such a powerful channel? Why is it growing so much? And why are more and more companies shifting the budgets from traditional channels to influencer marketing? Of course, there are many things, but I want to highlight 3 specific ones that I think are the most important ones. First of all, it's all about the relationship. As I mentioned previously, people trust other people more than they trust companies. And these influencers have many times spent years and lots of time and effort to build a relationship with their followers. So when you as a brand work together with an influencer, you can actually get access to this credibility that they have created. However, what is important to note is that you really need to work with a channel over a long time in order for it to be trustworthy and credible. The other key factor is relevancy. As I said before, we are tired of advertisements and we want communication to be relevant and meaningful for us. When you work with influencers, you know that the people who follow these influencers, they do so because they want to. They are not disrupted when they watch a movie or read a magazine by an advertisement, but they want to take part of this content. And it's a fact, when you see something or hear something from someone you actively have chosen to follow, it becomes much more powerful and trustworthy. The third factor why influencer marketing is such an effective channel is the accuracy. And by that, I mean influencer marketing takes place on social media platforms, which means that you have a lot of data at hand. You can know exactly who the people who follow your influencers are in terms of geography, gender, age, interests, everything. So when you know who you want to reach, which people are in your target audience, you can really make sure that the influencers you work with talk to these people in a relevant way. So yeah, there are many things to mention, but here are my 3 key things. So what do you need to consider when you are to work with influence marketing? Of course, there are many things to hear as well, but I have chosen 5 things that you really need to consider. The first thing is to have a profound strategy in place. And I know it might sound very obvious. Of course, you need a strategy in marketing, but since influencer marketing is a relatively new channel for many marketers, it's not uncommon that you test it a little besides your other activities and see what happens. And you don't really know why you're doing it. Maybe you've heard about it and think it sounds like a cool channel and everyone's talking about it. But you really need to know why you're doing it, who you want to reach, and how it shall complement your other channels. The second thing you need to consider is to focus on the target group. And this might sound very obvious as well, but it's quite common that marketers start to look at which influencer they want to collaborate with, rather than who this person actually reaches out to. And it's not strange. I mean, it's grounded probably in the more traditional version of influence marketing when you focus on celebrity endorsements. But when you work with modern data-driven influence marketing, you always need to start with who do you want to reach and which influencers reaches out to these people that I want to talk with. The third thing I recommend you to consider is to really make sure you integrate influence marketing into your overall media mix. And by that, I mean, it's very important that you don't work with influence marketing as a silo activity besides your other marketing activities. It's also quite common because As I mentioned before, it's a relatively new channel, so you test and see what happens, but the effect will really happen when you integrate them into each other. For example, with your social strategy, with your SEO strategy, and make sure you have a coherent strategy across all your media channels. The fourth thing you need to consider is to have an always-on approach to the channel. And by that, I mean you need to work with the channel continuously and not only do a single collaboration every now and then. Because it's the same as with any other marketing activity. If you only do one printed advertisement or two per year, your target group will probably not remember you if they only see you once every now and then. You need to be there over a longer time to stay top of mind. The fifth thing is to invest in the channel for the long term. Again, building credibility and building a relationship with your audience takes time, and you really need to have patience and tests and make sure you find your recipe for success. And finally, let's get practical. How do you get started? The first thing is to really get to know your target audience. Which social platforms do they spend most time? Which influencers do they follow? Do they follow influencers? How do they want to be communicated with, and what is relevant for them? First, when you really know your target audience and their media consumption behavior, you can talk to them in a relevant way. The second step is to make sure you combine the data with a relevant brand match. Even if all the numbers are right, you have found influencers that reaches out to your target group, everything is good on the paper, you need to make sure that this person also is a brand match. It must be relevant that he or she talks about your brand and your product. For example, you cannot sell a meat product with a person who is a vegetarian, or baby insurance with someone who isn't pregnant, etc. So really make sure that everything fits together and that the data is in place. Finally, when you're up and running with your campaigns, you cannot sit back and relax, but you need to experiment and optimize the results after time when you see what's working and what's not working. Because influencer marketing is just as any other marketing channel, you need to test to see what works for you and optimize based on that. That was all from me and from Cure Media today. I hope you have learned something new and gained some new insights and inspiration about influencer marketing. If you want to learn even more and digest deeper into the topic, you can always connect with us on our social media platforms. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You will find us probably on any social media platform. Thank you so much for listening.